All right, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to give you a quick update on the injury report. Not much has really changed since this morning's, at least for us. But what I said about the Buffalo Bills has changed, so we're going to go over theirs first, and then we'll quickly cover ours. We're going to read here from Evan Massey in the Buffalo Bills on Sports Illustrated. The article reads, Buffalo Bills suffer major injury blow before matchup with Lions. The Buffalo Bills have suffered a major injury blow for their game against the Detroit Lions by Evan Massey. And this was, from what I'm looking at here, I don't know if... this was about an hour ago. The Buffalo Bills are set for a massive showdown on Sunday afternoon in Week 15 action against our Lions. Playing against us at home, it's going to be a big test for the Bills, but it's also a huge opportunity. After losing last week in disappointing fashion, Buffalo can make a major statement with a win over Detroit. They can prove that they are indeed a Super Bowl favorite once again. Unfortunately, the Bills are going to need to make that statement without a key piece of their defense. As shared by Buffalo's radio play-by-play announcer Chris Brown, corner Rasul Douglas, which is going to really hurt for them, has been ruled out for this week's game. There's some good news to share as well, though. Now, I had mentioned DeMar Hamlin, Taylor Rapp, and Casey Toohill were possibly out. Casey, I thought, was a little closer, but they all did some practice in some capacity, so they all actually have a shot this week, article reads. Chris Brown from the Chris Brown Bills Twitter, he tweeted out, McDermott, Douglas is out for Sunday. Everyone else will practice in some capacity today and will be questionable. That includes Hamlin, Rapp, and Toohill. So all things go well for them. They get all that back. Their defense is a little more solidified, and this game's going to be even that much tighter. I mean, it's already super tight as we're speaking right now. Losing Douglas for this matchup is a tough blow, to say the least. The Lions have a very dangerous offensive half. To play without one of their top cornerbacks will make keeping them in check much more difficult. Dude, it's going to be hard anyway. 6 receivers with 5 passes each. That's what's that, 30 completed passes to 6 different receivers, bro? And all of them got the same share? That's ball distribution, bud. That's getting rid of the rock whenever and however you need to. So far this season, Douglas has not been the same level of playmaker that he was for the Bills last season. In 13 games this year, he has racked up 55 total tackles to go along with a forced fumble and 5 defended passes. Last season, in 9 games after the trade, Douglas ended up with 29 tackles, a sack, 2 fumbled recoveries, 4 interceptions, a defensive touchdown, and 8 defended passes. While his numbers have not been as good as this season, his production over the last year and a half shows just how valuable he is for the Buffalo's defense. And look, he is. He is. So him being out is going to be a big deal for these guys. Hopefully the other players are able to play on Sunday. The Bills need as many hands on deck as they can get. So I would venture to say that Buffalo's injury situation is pretty much up in the air. Even more than the Lions. We have better news to share with our fans than the Bills have with theirs. Now, the good news is they actually have a chance to come into the game, so they didn't have that chance as far as I knew yesterday, because they didn't have that Thursday practice where you could really see what was going on. And today, with today's practice like it was, it looks like they have a better chance. So let's see what the Lions injury report looks like. And this was about 48 minutes ago. All right, so this is an article from Nolan Bianchi in the Detroit News. And it reads, headline, ready to roll. Lions anticipate getting back 5 starting linemen versus the Bills. Linebacker ruled out. We talked about that last night. Nowaski is ruled out. He's definitely not going to make it. So basically, we're just going to get down to what Coach Campbell said. He said, looks like Pascal has gotten through the week pretty good so far. Reeder as well, Levi as well, Decker as well. Mack cleared protocol, which means the only thing that was holding Mack up was his concussion protocol. So he's cleared. We're going to have our number 1 guy in the middle. And that is a huge relief, right? And that's defense. And on offense, Taylor Decker's back, which means our running game just got its centerpiece in the middle back. Let's see. So I think we're trending the right way with all these guys. Coach said today will be the icing on the cake with all those guys, but they all look pretty good right now. And that's a huge relief, man. that's like, that was basically the entire. I mean, we are injured. Other than that, I mean, you got Anzalone, you still got Hutch out, obviously, but that chunk right there was like, when you start missing chunks of your line, that's when things can devastatingly go wrong for your team. I mean, it's enough to miss like a cornerback or a safety position being open, or where you're needing some help. But when you have like 3 defensive linemen and offensive linemen, like when your lines aren't good, it's very, very difficult to produce anything offensively and to stop anything defensively. So the fact that they got these guys back and have survived at 12-1 over the last couple games, to me, is almost a miracle. But now it's back to business, baby. It is back to business. The Lions' defensive line was decimated entering last Thursday's 34-31 win over the Green Bay Packers. Pascal, Enrique, Reeder all sustained injuries in Detroit's win over the Thanksgiving Day and did not play. McNeil, concussion, suffered an injury early in the win against the Packers. He ended up going out and not coming back. Decker, he was rolled up in Week 12 and he had 2 days off. Basically, two games off. The Lions will have a full 10 days between last week's win over Green Bay and this week's game against Buffalo. We talked about it before, but man, that extra 3 days rest could not have come at a better time. It's been a good week for us just to get back after really having what felt like a bit of a mini bye, catch your breath for a minute, Campbell said. We were able to get back and do some of the things we were doing before we got into the stretch, that we were in. And that's all a fan wants to hear, and that's all a team really needs to be doing at this point when you have these many injuries, is just keeping the next guy up, keep training them well, and get your guys back. And it looks like they got a nice chunk of guys back, which means our depth that just popped back down, that depth is now, it's still going to be there. Like, those guys are still, they've had enough under their belt game-wise and on the field-wise to where if they have to step in, they're not going to be like super rusty and super nasty, except for how they're going to get after the ball. That's where their super nasty is going to be at now. Campbell said that linebacker Trevor Nowaski, who showed up at the practice report earlier this week with a concussion, will not be ready to play, as we figured as much. He says, I didn't see Nowaski playing this week. That crept up on us. That was something that he just, he didn't feel good. He's in protocol, and he'll be good. So, they got him doing what they got to get him doing. Something must have happened. So, right there, that's your injury report. It looks to me as if the Lions have solidified their lines again. We got Decker back, our O-line's, our running game, which is one of the things that Buffalo's been hard-pressed to stop, is a good running game. So that's been solidified more. Our defensive line is now going to be somewhat of a threat. I know that Josh Allen is the least sacked quarterback in the NFL, but with our pieces back, we can at least give him a decent amount of pressures, keep him off his balance, make him scramble, which it can be tough, but as long as we got somebody eyeballing him and we can keep the flow of the game, in front of us, I think we can handle him enough to where we can keep them generic for what they are, which is about a 30-point per team game, and I think we can even score as much as 40. So if you looked at all the picks, most people are picking the Lions to win. We're probably favored at home, obviously. But Gruden actually picked us to lose, but that was before he knew we were getting all these guys back. So wonder if he would change his mind now. But that's it. That's the coverage. We're looking good, and we'll do another video here after the game, kind of talk about what happened, what shook down, how did the matchups really look, and cover any injuries that may or may not occur. So we'll see you guys after the game Sunday, maybe Monday. Talk to you later.